This is The Litter Box, a Detroit Lions podcast with your hosts, Chet West and Bill Patterson.
Welcome to the Detroit Lions Litter Box with your co-hosts, Billy P. from the D and Chet West. We are talking Lions beating the Cowboys. And Chet, I'm going to give you a question here in a moment, but my big thing is this. The Lions held the Cowboys' explosive offense to just 2 touchdowns. In one,
just 2.
Yeah, but
That's a success.
Difference in the game. And I will tell you this, as much as I love our field goal kicker, he is not Brandon Aubrey. That guy is automatic from anywhere in a dome.
He hits it. He's pretty good. And that's nothing against our guy, okay?
No,
I love the brick
no.
salesman, but I get what you're saying. What you're saying.
I think Aubrey is like a future Morton Anderson, on Lowry type of Hall of Fame.
Lowry.
Garo Yepieman or whatever that guy's
Yarrow? I think it's Yarrow. I believe
Yarrow.
The G is silent.
Yeah,
Yarrow Yepremian.
Yepremian, thank you. So anyhow, I think Brandon Aubrey might be in the best there. I guess quick thoughts. The Lions did what they needed to do to salvage 2 out of 3 at home. Jahmyr Gibbs is the best running back in the NFL. Anybody that wants to debate that, send us a note because there is no debate on that in our Lord's year 2025 of the NFL season. CeeDee Lamb gets hurt early in the second half. That hurts. Question for you, Chet.
Yes.
And this is where we're going to start this. Did George Pickens get hurt on that first catch where he came up a little gingerly, or did George Pickens quit on his team? What say you?
Bold assumption you're making there of Mr. Pickens.
This isn't me, Chet. Richard Sherman called him out.
Really?
Yeah. Chet,
I did not see Sherm make this statement.
Chet, many people have called him out on this. So,
okay.
But your opinion is what we really care about.
So I want to tell you what my situation was like for watching this game. I could not hear the announcers through most of it. I had to watch it on an iPad due to the Amazon Prime broadcast because I was in a hotel room in North Carolina where they did not have Amazon Prime available for me to watch on the television set. I could not also mirror my iPad, so I had to just watch on a iPad screen, and I had other action going on because I was sharing a hotel room with my daughter who was doing some other things in the background. So I was kind of bouncing in and out of some we were at a function, and I was bouncing in and out of some things. And so I watched the game, but I watched the game. And I just watched what was happening, and I did not hear any of the announcers or any of the halftime pundits or anything and their analysis. What I saw was I thought he was going to have a bigger day, Pickens.
Okay.
And the guys who actually had the big day was the up-and-coming Flournoy, and Lamb had the 121 yards. Until he got hurt. So that... I think you're alluding, or your next question maybe, was the Lamb injury a turning point or something in the game?
Well, I just wanted to deal with Pickens. I mean, I think it's a matter
Pickens, I don't know. I don't know if he's given up or not.
All right, so our listeners, I would advise you to go back to his first catch and see how he gets up. My take is that he's injured, given his history, and the Steelers do not punt on guys that they draft high that they like. Clearly, they didn't like something about him, and the head coach, Schottenheimer, now had to have a meeting because of cryptic tweets and social media presence from one George Pickens. It's the Cowboys. If they could ever eliminate the drama, they could actually be a competitive team.
Pickens has been an injury-prone receiver to a degree in his past. He's a little bit of a leg lamp, fragile. So we want to be careful. You like that?
I love that Christmas reference.
I don't know, though, that he was quitting on his team. He may have felt something and just backed it off and left.
I think he either dislocated a shoulder or was concussed, which leads me to my next question that was not on our pre-show list. So I'm going to give you a moment to think about this.
Okay, please do.
Because injuries were abundant. CeeDee Lamb, obviously the key to the game. So we're talking about injuries, Chet, and your question is going to be, I think the Ford Field turf might be the worst in the league.
You think so?
Not named Giant Stadium. I'm going to keep talking while you digest this.
Do we need to do a turf analysis?
Well,
do we need to know, like, when was that turf installed and have they reinstalled since?
Chet, I actually did a little bit of the legwork on this, and it is not ranked in the bottom 5.
Really?
In any of the NFLPA Association reveals. However, those mysteriously just went down because the NFL owners asked the Players Association to take those down. But what I did dig up, it is not a very good track, and you're going to hear it first on this pod, Detroit Lions Litter Box. Grow grass indoors, Ford Field.
Like they did for the World Cup in 1994.
You can, if you could do it at the Silverdome,
you could grow something in the Silverdome. You can grow it anywhere.
In your backyard, you have my alma mater and many of our listeners' alma mater. One of the, if not the finest turf grass management schools in the country, Michigan State University.
Down the road.
You grow that track indoors and you make it work because
I agree. And they can roll that stuff in and out like they do it. Where do they do that? In Arizona? Don't they roll it in and out the end of the stadium? Do something creative like that. Get Michigan State involved. Throw them some ducats to get things going.
Yeah.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. I'd like to see real turf indoors. And if they grew something in the Silverdome, nothing lived in there. There was no prospect for life inside of the Silverdome. As much as we love the Silverdome.
No, we didn't. No, we didn't. Nope, we did not love it.
You're going to tell me there wasn't a little romance to a smoke-filled interior stadium like that you could if you were in the upper deck during a Pistons game, you could barely see the floor.
And the curtains.
It was like the world's largest clam bake. It was incredible.
Okay, let's go back to
the curtains. Very sexy, the curtains.
Yeah, the curtains were super sexy.
Yes.
So Silverdome memories are as follows. One, even if you showed up 15 minutes before kickoff to an hour before kickoff, there was already a smoke-filled haze. Even after they banned smoking. It was as if
the guys like vacuuming the turf in there were smoking, just chain smoking the whole day or something before you got there.
The turf was literally painted concrete. And then my other memory is this. There were never enough men's rooms. And so we have listeners and friends that are permanently scarred by the bathroom lines at the Silverdome.
There are.
I do remember grown men peeing in the sinks.
Yep.
At the Silverdome, which is absolutely disgusting. And I've never seen that in all my visits to all the stadiums elsewhere in this country and abroad. They don't do that in Spain. They don't do that in England. They don't do that in Scotland. It was a filthy, awful place. My favorite part.
They grew grass there in 94, and that tells me you can do it anywhere.
Exactly. One last Silverdome thought.
Yes.
Your favorite thought and mine was when you were a little kid, the wind pushing you out of the stadium because of the inflation of the dome.
When you go turnstile doors, it was incredible. You'd hit that and you'd get so excited. You're like, I'm going to get thrown into the parking lot from here.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And when the Lions stunk, you would just take like a quarter off and go outside and play football on the hill outside the doors.
Exactly.
That was I think I spent like an entire game out there once because they were so bad. Anyhow, let's go back.
Really good in and out privileges for a pro stadium.
Very much so. You could just kind of go in and out as you please.
All right. So I'm back to the turf monster. This was my question for you. So CeeDee Lamb goes down. That clearly probably didn't hurt the Lions. It definitely hurt the Cowboys. The Lions win, but the Lions do not come out of this unscathed. Now Brian Branch is injured. He snapped his Achilles. He is done for the year. We also lost Thomas Harper, second defensive play of the game, to a concussion.
Yep.
We don't have any safeties left, do we?
I don't think we have a whole lot of anything left at this point. Our defense, I was thinking about this today. Are the injuries this season, the injury dilemma this season, worse than it was last season? I think it is. I think we've lost more key cogs and pieces and had more influx in and out. Now, granted, we lost Hutch last season. That was awful. We lost Anzalone for a couple games last season. That was awful. I think Branch was kind of in and out likewise at times. We've lost more this season, though, in volume than we did last season, and I think it's making running a defense very difficult.
100%, because last year it was just on one side of the ball, and it was mainly the defensive line. However, when Aleem McNeil got hurt and was lost for the season, we had already lost touch. But I feel the same way now with Branch going out, with Terrion Arnold out, with the unknown question mark of, is Kirby Joseph going to be back ever? And now Thomas Harper's played well for a backup second-year player from Notre Dame. He's been more than adequate. And if he misses significant time, Chet, we don't have, you're talking about Avonte Maddox is like our go-to safety. Matthew Stafford and Aaron Rodgers and hell, even J.J. McCarthy are going to feast on that.
I have a feeling Shepard's only game plan from here on out is going to be to have an all-out blitz all game long. I don't think he can do it.
Like Aaron Glenn did last season.
Yep.
Okay.
He's going to have to go to the all-out blitz every play and hope to God that somebody plays some sort of defensive backfield when they are able to get rid of a ball, because I don't see a world where we are going to rely on these D-backs covering anybody going forward. It's going to have to be putting pressure on slower, older quarterbacks and getting them to make mistakes that are just so egregious, and or sacking them. It's just, and by the way, what'll actually somewhat help is getting that lead and just keeping the offenses off the field. Get a lead, run the ball, eat up the clock, keep the offenses off the field, fewer opportunities to score, yada, yada, yada. But
all right,
so we're in a situation now where we're going to have to game plan around this.
So we're 8-5. We're on the outside looking in for the playoffs. We got good news yesterday, which is also why we deliberately did this pod. The Packers beat the Bears.
Yes.
We don't like the Packers ever winning.
No.
However, somebody had to win the game, and it actually helps the Lions because they still have a game to play against the Bears. So there's an opportunity there for the Lions to get into the playoffs. Here's where I'm going to go, Chet. I have a few thoughts on what needs to happen, and I'm curious to hear your retort on some of this. The injuries are widespread because it's on both sides of the ball. You know, last year it was just one side of the ball. Now we've got Laporta. We've got Khalif Raymond, even though, go figure, you've said this all season, Tom Kennedy, TK85 is a revelation in the return game.
I'm going to tell you right now, I have never been a huge Khalif Raymond fan. I've not been against him being out there. He's done some great things, but I also was always kind of wondering if he was the best at seeing those seams and whatnot in the return game. Seems to always kind of do a little too much. Tom Kennedy catches the ball, and it's like a bolt of lightning for the first seam he sees. And he hits that seam. A lot of the times in these past two games, he's hit that seam. I have an appreciation for that guy. And if you saw the post game, when, the Dan Campbell game ball situation, he gave a game ball to TK85, and the locker room went absolutely crazy. These guys love that guy. So these are the kind of, I don't want to call them a glue piece, okay? But these are the romantic little stories that can get intertwined in a season and pick a team up just a notch or two as they're going through difficult times. These injury things, I mean, it's like we're climbing Everest. Every week we climb Everest, we finally get to the top, and then you realize, geez, I got to do the Hillary step. I got to do the most nuanced piece of the climb just to get to the peak. It's like every injury is a Hillary step.
Chet, a great analogy, but no, they're only at base camp. They're not even.
They are actually really haven't gotten up past.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as we wrap this up, because Litterbox Lions listeners, we will give you a preview of the Rams in full detail once we get injury reports, probably come late Thursday, early Friday. Game balls. Obviously, TK85, if it's good enough for Dan Campbell. Yeah. Yes. The other guy that got one was our guy, Bob Muhammad. 3 sacks. Bob
came out. All we had to do was call him out on the pod for not doing anything 3 weeks ago, and the next thing you know, he gets a sack, 2 back-to-back games.
Hell
and
yeah.
3 in this one. Love it.
Sorry, we might lose our PG rating on that.
Yep. Now, it's just an AG double hockey sticks.
It's Bob.
Fine.
It's Bob.
It's Bob Muhammad. Right, and by the way, I want to call something else out that I don't think that may have slid through the wickets here. Our guy, Tyleek Williams, is now starting to get talked about as one of the top D tackles in the league at the moment.
Which is excellent. He also gets a game ball, and I appreciate that. Can we circle back to him in just 1 second? Other 2 game balls are on the offensive side. Jahmyr Gibbs, from here on out, gets a game ball every game. And here's the guy that I would say is the MVP of this team. Could barely walk before the game. I don't know what they put in that leg or an ankle.
I don't know.
If MCDC has a player that represents grit, biting kneecaps, it has to be the Sun God. And the Sun God playing is what won that game for the Lions. And he also gets a game ball any game he plays. He and Gibbs get it. And then let's get back to our guy Williams, because gosh darn it, Brad Holmes has been getting beat up and he nailed it, taking him when
by this podcast at time. But Tyleek is a top 12 D tackle now per PFF. I mean, you're doing a soft clap. You're doing an interesting soft clap right now. It was weird. It looked like you had flippers or something. But at the same time, he's very, he kind of goes about his work silently. You don't hear his name called a lot during the game. But then you go back and think about it. It's like, oh, Javonte Williams had 67 rushing yards in this game. Javonte Williams has been great all season long against very good D lines. Now, you put McNeil and Tyleek in the middle there, and Lopez has been doing his share. As you said, he'll be gone end of season. He's had a great season too. I think Tyleek is starting to get more opportunities, though. I think he's working his way into that lineup a lot more. I'll be curious to see how his development progresses.
Well, can I actually give you the key that I think led to his getting a game ball? And we should also give like an honorary nod. McNeil didn't have to be on the outside.
Yeah.
He actually got to play the position that
Bob did his job, and Hutch fed off of that, probably helped Bob do his job. I mean, when they don't have to double an end and he's doing a good job, he's going to get around. Like you saw, Bob was one-on-one almost all game long, and he was able to crush the guy.
It also helped having backup tackles, but anyhow.
Yep.
We digress. All right, last thing on this, and this is a Hutch thought for you. I personally think, and I'm not alone, I've heard other media sorts, he plays every friggin' snap.
Yep.
And you look at Myles Garrett.
He rarely sits.
If you look at Myles Garrett.
I know exactly where you're going with this.
If you look at Micah Parsons, and then let's talk about.
They're going 2 snaps every 4 downs, basically.
The Bosa's the Bosa that's healthy, and then Max Crosby, right? Is that kind of our.
They're very situational. I think Crosby probably gets more snaps than like Parsons and Garrett. But
he's also playing for a team that's won 3 games.
Exactly.
I mean, he's as mismanaged possibly as Aiden is.
But I was going to say this earlier on when we were kind of giving Aiden some hell. Aiden plays easily 3, if not 4 downs a series. And he's on the field 80% of another team's possession. So these other guys are out there half the time. I mean, Parsons is out there half the time. Garrett is out there half the time. Crosby, probably a little over half the time. These guys aren't being asked to play 4 downs a series. They're asked to play 1 or 2. They come in situationally, almost like a closer or something in a baseball game. So, you get in a 3rd and 8, let's bring Parsons in to put the heat on, but don't leave him in there 1st and 10 and 2nd and 5 and all that. So I maybe they do need to manage Aiden a little more. Maybe that's the key here. Do they manage him well enough? Do they keep his engine fresh? I don't know. Does he want it that way? He might like to be out there. Good point, though. It's a great call out.
All right, so let's celebrate the victory. We have a 3:25 Central Standard Time, 4:25 Eastern Standard Time tilt against the Rams. Expect a preview later this week. Let's target Friday for that to be published and out there.
Lovely.
We can't wait to see you all there. We thank you for listening. Go Honolulu Blue and Silver, go Lions, and thank you for listening to the Detroit Lions Litter Box.